Okay, so this podcast is over dividing radicals. So first off, break apart the radicands using the quotient rule. If it is a over b, the square root of it, you can separate it so it is the square root of a over the square root of b. And then you want to look for this perfect square radicals and simplify them. Simplify, divide, reduce the radicands if possible. Simplify the resulting radical along with any coefficients. So let's try some examples. So number one on your note sheet, we have the square root of 49 over 100. So we are going to separate it into the square root of 49 over the square root of 100. So simplify. The square root of 49 is 7. Square root of 100 is 10. 7 over 10 does not simplify. Number 5 on your note sheet. The square root of 10 over 45. Both of these numbers are divisible by 5. So as a fraction, we can simplify it down to 2 over 9. So the square root of 2 does not simplify. However, the square root of 9 is 3. So we have radical 2 over 3 as our final answer. Number 9. The 3 radical 5 over 45. Okay, so we can simplify the radicals down. 5 over 45 simplifies down to 1 over 9. So I have 3 as my coefficient on the outside, radical 1 over radical 9. Simplify. 3 times square root of 1. Square root of 1 is just 1, so it's like 3 times 1. Radical 9 in the denominator is 3. 3 times 1 is 3 over 3. My final answer is 1. Okay, rationalizing the denominator. To be fully simplified means that there is no radical left in the denominator. Sometimes this can occur along with dividing. This process of eliminating the radical is called rationalizing the denominator. So when we rationalize the denominator, we are going to multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the radical in the denominator, then simplify. Okay, so for example, number 13. I cannot simplify radical 7. So I am going to multiply my denominator by radical 7 and my numerator by radical 7. So by doing that, in my numerator, I get 4 radical 7. In my denominator, if I multiply my radicals, I get radical 49. And then I simplify. So I have 4 radical 7 over square root of 49 is 7. And then I look to simplify if I can. I cannot, so I leave it like that. Number 17. 4 radical 3 over radical 2. Again, I can't simplify that denominator, so I'm going to multiply my denominator by radical 2 and my numerator by radical 2. So my numerator becomes 4 radical 6 because we multiply our radical 3 times radical 2. Our denominator becomes radical 4. Simplify. So I have 4 radical 6 in my numerator. Square root of 4 is 2. Simplify if you can. I'm looking at 4 divided by 2. That simplifies down. So I am left with 2 radical 6 as my final answer. All right, so that concludes the podcast. I want you to try number 3, 9, excuse me, not 9, that'd be 10, 3, 10, 14, and 18. 3, 10, 14, and 18 for homework on your own. Okay, so that concludes the podcast.